so happy that we're bringing in the end of the week and a day of rest together as a community. So welcome to all of our friends there on Facebook and YouTube who may be just stumbling on to Shabbat services because you were looking for some great music and some wonderful community, and you're going to find it here. Kabbalat Shabbat is such a special time of the week. It's a time when we bring in the very best music. It's the most melodic, it's the sweetest, it's the most inspiring, and it is with all of that greatness that we hope that the next 25 hours truly are restful and joyful. So Cantor Baron, I'm so happy that you're here with us. How about bringing us with some music and some joy, and let us begin.
Okay. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da da dai 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 dai. Dai da dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da da dai dai. Dai 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 da dai 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 da dai 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 dai. Dai da dai 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 da dai 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 dai. Dai da dai 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 da dai 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 dai. Dai da dai 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 da dai 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 dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da da dai dai. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharetz, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlakim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Yedid nefesh al varachaman, Yedid nefesh al varachaman, Meshochadecha el retzonecha, Meshochadecha la 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 el muladarecha. Yedid nefesh al varachaman, Yedid nefesh al varachaman, Meshochadecha el retzonecha, ושוכב לך, לי 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 לי, אל מול הדרך. ירוץ עבדך כמו הים, ישתחווה לי לי לי, לה 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 לי לי לי, אל מול הדרך. ישתחווה לי לי לי, לה 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 לי לי לי, אל מול הדרך. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. Page 15. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. נריע נריע לצור ישנו, נקדמה פניו ותודה. נריע נריע לצור ישנו, בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. כי אל גדול אדוני, ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים. כי אל גדול אדוני, ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. 40 שנה הכות בדור, ואומרם טועה לבבם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשפטתי מאפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. Page 19. Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Ishtachavu lehar konsho, Ishtachavu lehar konsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo 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 Ishtachavu lehar kodsho, Ishtachavu lehar kodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu. page 20. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Avulandonai Beneli Avulandonai Kavurvalai Avulandonai Kemon Shemo Kishtachavulandonai Vehadran Konesh Uladonai Al Hamayim El Hakavod Hakavod Hirim Adonai Al Maim Rabim Kol Adonai Bako Alai Kol Adonai Vehadar Kol Adonai Shover Arazim Vaishaver Adonai Et Arzei Halbanun Vayarkinem Kemo Egel Vayechesov Yeharod Uvehalo Kulo Merkavo Lai 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 Adonai Lamavol Yashava Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Os Le'amo Yitein Adonai Yevarech Et Amo Hashalom Ay, nay, 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 nay. Ay, nay, nay, nay. Ay, nay, 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 nay. Ay, nay, 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 nay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. One of the iconic moments of my childhood, and I guess I date myself by calling this my childhood, was watching the wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. And I remember vividly because it took over all of the television stations, and there was so much talk about it. And what do I know about weddings? And sure enough, they were talking about her length of her dress, and it was this like incredible dress with this incredible long train. And I just remember the moment vividly of her being presented as the doors open and she entered the church. And in front of her was this incredibly long walkway, this aisle. And clearly her dress needed it for her to make it all the way down the aisle. And I hold on to that. I hold on to that and recall it every once in a while, because it really is kind of an iconic image of what a wedding ceremony is all about. In many respects, the frame of wedding ceremonies is always refracted a little bit through something like that. It was really that precious a moment for those of you that remember as well. You ever wonder why there's an aisle between the beginning of the space and where the chuppah is in a Jewish wedding? Like, where was it written that there needed to be an aisle somewhere? I even did a wedding not too long ago over the summer. It was a beautiful, beautiful wedding right on the beach overlooking the cliffs of the ocean in the Newport beach area. And it had this wonderful walkway to this incredible view of the ocean. And the pomp and the circumstance, the anticipation that was built up with the travel down the aisle really enhanced the moment. I talk to wedding couples and I explain that moment under the chuppah is very much an arrival into the home that they're going to build together. That this moment in which they now join underneath the chuppah is a culmination of the journey that they've been taking since the first moment that they met. But that aisle still kind of persists. That aisle seems like the last moment. Maybe we can joke and say, that's so if the groom has second thoughts, he has a long way to go before he can leave the space. Or maybe it's the bride who has to build up enough momentum because she's holding her back with her parents, pushing her down the aisle to make sure that she really is ready to go and stand under the chuppah with this groom and start a new life. Something that's so foreign and adventurous and scary and mysterious that just lays in front of her. I think there's one thing that keeps this image so vivid, and it's one that we carry into Shabbat. We don't need the wedding image, even though Lecha Dodi is precisely that as Shabbat begins. It's this idea of momentum, this idea that step by step we build upon what came before us to prepare us for what lay ahead. And the idea of an aisle is not being pushed by parents, but actually it's the transformation that we all take when we're walking from one space into a new space. And to be prepared for that is not just to make the decision. The decision was made, but to know that we need the momentum to build up towards that moment so that when we arrive, it isn't at the conclusion of some great difficulty or task or challenge, but it's really what all momentum does for us. It makes the hardest work seem so easy. Shabbat begins, and we've been building up to this moment all week. In fact, maybe sometimes the pent-up momentum for this moment has been carrying forward from several weeks. And maybe this is the time that you can finally let go and relax and really enjoy what Shabbat offers us, which is this oasis in time, which is this reprieve from the world. It's a moment, ironically, when momentum, the things that propel us forward, the things that we do to accomplish and strive and achieve and build in the world, is momentarily suspended. But I really think the momentum of Shabbat is the momentum of our lives. It's what we work for each and every day, not so that we can have more, so that we can just continue to move forward in the world. But the momentum is to reach moments like Shabbat each and every week, to remind us that there is something more precious and more valuable and more sacred and more holy in our lives than what we create and produce and what we build up all that momentum for. There is the experience of togetherness, the gathering of loved ones, the exchange and the sharing of ideas, the sweetness of life that is tasted, and the momentum that we build for that is something that we crave and desire and strive toward. Lecha Dodi, it says, come, my bride. And it's all about the momentum that it takes for us to be ready to welcome Shabbat into our lives. And as we sing the melodies and as we transform these words, which are beautifully orchestrated with music, they really are a transformation of our souls. And we really are ready to welcome all the momentum that our preparations have given to us. This day of connection, this day of family, this day of renewal. Lecha Dodi, page 21.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nikabela. Shamor ben Zachor ben Dibor Echad, Ishmianu El Hamiuchad Adonai Echad, Ushemo Echad, L'Shem Ol Tiferet V'Litera, Chadodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kavela, Chadodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nikabela, Likrat Shabbat, לכו ונלכה, כי מקור המרחו, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, חדודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת קבלה, חדודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה, בואי בשלום עצרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, חדודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת קבלה, חדודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Sing with me, חדודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת קבלה, חדודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Psalm for Shabbat, page 23. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It's good to give praise, to give thanks to Adonai. That's the first words when we arrive at Shabbat. Words of praise, words of gratitude, words of appreciation for our lives, for the blessings that we have, God willing, for the good health that's in our midst and the health that we share with others. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer shimcha elyon. And we sing of your presence on high and right here with us.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. 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 להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
As Kabbalat Shabbat concludes, we transition now into the Ma'ariv prayers, the evening prayers. We invite everybody to rise as the prayers begin on page 28 with Baruch Hu following Cantor-Bearing.
Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך עמת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
We recite Shema Yisrael together, page 30.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavcha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol meodecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך ובדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. And please continue silently or join me if you like on the top of page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, ve'amarta alehem, ve'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam, ve'natenu al tzitzit hakanaf, betil techelet, ve'haya lachem letzitzit, uritem oto, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם, מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen.
This coming Monday, we commemorate a day to celebrate and to remember the incredible impact of Martin Luther King Jr. and his wisdom continues to permeate every corner and facet of our society, and it's an opportunity for us to step back and to celebrate his wisdom. So he said, freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. We know this story. It's a story that we're reading in our Torah. It's a story that says that when the Israelites cried out for help is when God heard and responded. Until then, they were slaves. They were comfortable as slaves. They believed that their only station in life was to be slaved. And freedom begins with a cry. Freedom begins with a demand. And it's the great story of how the Israelite people demanded freedom. And with help and with inspiration and with great leadership, that freedom was given. We take the journey each and every day. We remind ourselves that freedom is not something that is merely given to us, but we must demand it. We must fight against those who would seek to oppress us or to take it away from us or to take it away from others. And it is a reminder, a sobering reminder each and every day that freedom still is limited to special people in this world, and that the Jews who suffered and endured so much throughout our history remind us that freedom is available for everyone. Freedom is a right that is given to each and every one of us. And freedom of this magnitude is something that we sing each and every day. It's the song that we sang the first moment that freedom was tasted on our lips. And it's the freedom that we continue to sing about even tonight. And I hope that it inspires us to ensure the freedom for others as well. Micha Mocha, page 32.
Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 yada da da da. Yada da 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 da. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot, o seifele, o seifele. Yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da da yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 Malchutcha ra'uvanecha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe Malchutcha ra'uvanecha בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם לעולם ועד, ידה די 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 די, ידה די די די, yada da 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 yada da da yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Dr. King is also famously known for saying, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. The next prayer that we recite, Hashkivenu, is a prayer only recited at night. It's a time when darkness falls upon us from the outside. The sun has crested the horizon and the coldness begins to creep in physically. And it's a moment in which perhaps there's a great amount of uncertainty and doubt about whether or not we'll be protected. And that's what this prayer is calling into question, whether God's presence will be with us as the darkness settles. Only light can drive out darkness, says Dr. King. Only love can drive out hate. The forces of darkness that exist in our world, they aren't merely physical. Forces of darkness that exist in our world are born out of enmity between people. They're in the dark corners where peddlers peddle drugs to poor afflicted souls, where there are too many countless examples of vicious and greedy workers who claim the lives of children and of women and of the impoverished and force them to work and to do unspeakable horrors to fulfill their own nefarious goals. This exists in our day too. And as darkness settles upon us with this light cresting on the horizon, it is perhaps a moment of great uncertainty. But we pray. We pray for the light. We pray for the love. We hope that God's presence shelters over us like a sukkah shalom. We pray that we are enveloped in the folds of shalom, the warmth of peace, and the warmth of blessing and of goodness and of possibility. On page 33, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Bring us into this place of uncertainty with peace, Adonai. And may you be the one who spreads over us a shelter of peace over all the Jewish people, over all the world at this time. Page 33, we say the blessing for Hashkivenu and continue with Vishamru.
Ushmor seitenu uvoenu l'chaim ulshalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shomeru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
יברח ירצה וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. שמי רבה מבורך לעל מעלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי דקודשם בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בימה, ויאמרו
Amen. The Amidah begins on page 35, A or B, continues through page 38. At the conclusion of those personal meditations and prayers for Shabbat, you can take your seats if you've been standing, and we'll conclude together with a prayer for Shalom. We'll say Shalom. Once again, 35B, the evening prayers, the Amidah begins.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
We're nearing the conclusion of our prayers, and we'll conclude with the Aleinu prayer, and we'll recite Kaddish, and then we'll welcome in Shabbat together with the blessings of Kiddush and the candles. Thank you, Cantor Baron. Just beautiful music, and I really appreciate you sort of bringing us to such a place of tranquility and calmness, but also like excitement, because Shabbat is about to begin with your music. So thank you very much for what you share with us tonight and every week. And we're very much looking forward to Shabbat coming ahead in the coming days. Tomorrow morning, Shabbat morning services with the Subero family. We're celebrating Natalie's bat mitzvah. In the afternoon, we'll be celebrating Karis Kilberg's bat mitzvah at 4 o'clock. And we'll be having 5 o'clock minyan with Yossi Dresner. So please join us if you would like to participate in the Shabbat afternoon minyans. And then finally, Havdalah, the conclusion of Shabbat with Rabbi Ed Feinstein. Cantor Baron, are you on with that as well?
No, he's on his own tomorrow night.
Well, I think that is a treat in and of itself, because I think I've heard that he knows how to play guitar.
Oh, actually, you know what? No, I think you're. I correct myself. I believe I am doing it with him tomorrow night. Actually.
I still think that you should watch him play guitar and see what happens.
No, when you said he was playing guitar, I changed my mind.
All right, everybody. Well, Shabbat Shalom. We wish you all a very, very restful day. Please rise if you're able. Once again, turn to page 51, page 51 for the Aleinu prayer as we conclude.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נותן שמיים ויוצר הארץ ומה שמקרא אין עוד על כן ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Pause now and offer those who have gathered in our midst and are in a period of mourning, whether it is a recent loss that you have suffered or you are coming into the folds of our community to commemorate the passing of a loved one throughout the years, that we recite these words of memorial, of love, of comfort, and of peace that are found on page 52, the Kaddish Tome. We recite these words, and in our midst, we recognize that there are still so many who are suffering from this incredible illness, and for those whose lives have been taken, we pray for the families who survive them, that they find strength and comfort in our midst, and that the words and the presence of our tradition leads them from darkness to light. So we turn to page 52, Kaddish Tome. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'agala u'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lameh almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekucha b'richu. Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Damiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yesh lama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'romav. V'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. If you're seated and you're able to rise, please turn your attention to the back corner where there are candles aglow and there is Kiddush full, and we are able to recite the blessings of Kiddush together. Please, Cantor Baron, lead us in the blessings of candles and Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu lehadlik ner V'tzivanu lehadlik ner V'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat Yai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitchanu b'misvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Welcome to all our friends here in the Zoom room and to all of you on Facebook and YouTube. Shabbat shalom, everyone. We sing as we conclude together. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה, והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם, אשר מעלה, בטרם כל ציר נברא, וית נשא. חפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, בידו אפקיד רוחי, והייתי שם ויעירה, ועם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא, אדון עולם אשר מעלה בטרם כל ציר נברא, וית נשא חפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. Come on, Tarzana.
Don't know love.
אשר מעלה ורייס בטרם כל ציר נברא, וית נשא אנסינו חפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. Shabbat shalom, BBS.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.